Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Mary Payton with All About STEM Radio. I come to you from Payton Studio here in Arlington, Texas. And guess what, y'all? I am doing my annual Sun interview. We were laughing about this the other day, Aaron and I. For the past 3 years, January, I have always interviewed him. Now, you know he's been on the show several times, but for some reason, I always hit him up in January for an interview, and this January is not going to be any different.
It doesn't change.
It doesn't change. So I am coming to you today from Payton Studios, which is owned by Aaron Payton, my wonderful and lovely son.
That's me.
So without any further ado, I want to get started. Aaron, hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I had a really, really solid Chinese lunch from a local restaurant called Ocean.
Oh, yeah, I love that place.
One of my favorite places for sure. And just did a bunch of running around.
Yeah.
Kept busy.
Hey, that's what we do right now. But you have to be careful. You have to be safe. Mm-hmm. Hey, I still mask up. Some people don't. It's always your choice. But, be careful, be safe. So, Aaron, what I kind of want to do, I want to go over a few things. This is going to be a very short interview. It's not going to be an hour. Mm-hmm. But I just want to kind of, bring back some of the things that we've discussed in some of our previous interviews. Well, one thing in particular, give us a little bit of a recap of 2020 for gig workers, because you are a gig worker.
For 2020 for gig workers in general, I saw a lot of people, not only in my industry, but in a lot of similar industries in the arts, walk away from what they'd been doing for years. There was a giant gap put into, I feel, the visual media world, because people were like, in my industry, you don't just get insurance and you don't just get some job benefits. You're kind of working under your own scope and acquiring those things on your own. So I feel like the pandemic showed a lot of people like the holes in their life that they weren't so comfortable with, maybe. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I saw a lot of people walking away or taking a break, doing truck driving, doing realty, mm-hmm. Finding other outlets, other means of income, other little side hustles to keep their pockets and their healths completely together. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if I was no different in that regard. Mm-hmm. I kept doing what I normally do, which is audio engineering for commercial and film video. But
you were having to do that online, correct?
I was doing a lot of it over the internet. A lot of post-production work to where I didn't meet with production. Yeah. I just talked to them on the phone or emailed them back and forth. Mm-hmm. And even on sets, there was times where I was called and they were like, "We need an audio guy. You're going to be meeting with a video guy, and it's just going to be you two. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to be there. We might be on a Zoom call or a Skype call or something, but it's just going to be you guys, and you guys are going to run the set." So in a way, I had to like step up, be 100% confident in what I was doing, and go out to those gigs knowing that I wasn't just going to be a sound guy. Mm-hmm. Like I was going to have to move a light to make the day work at a like efficient pace. I was going to have to maybe move a camera or whatever, but I think 2020 for me as a gig worker was definitely another year of reinstilling the fact that I really want to do this. Okay. And I saw all the people that still wanted to do it very badly, and the steps that they wanted to take to make not only their passion, mm-hmm. but the creative art scene that they were involved in or are involved in thrive and come out of the whole pandemic era like more successful than ever. Yeah. I've seen so many people like mature and grow and build their personal businesses and their personal passions to like a really refined point, I think.
Okay. Now, 2020 was a hard year for everybody, gig workers, kids, everybody. Now that you we hit 2021 and you're trying to restart. Getting back out there, what did that feel like? What did you have to do? What were some of the hurdles, some of the pitfalls, some of the high things? I know I'm rattling on, but that's what I do.
I mean, you just give me an idea of what the question is. First off, coming out of 2018, going into 2019, and like getting that buildup of this is the creative art scene I'm getting involved with. This is the media world that I'm now touching ground on, was really inspiring and really like, this is it. I'm finally involved. I'm finally here. And then 2020 was a very, okay, I actually don't know if I was completely there. Mm-hmm. I'm having to worry about things I didn't think I had to worry about. Yeah. As far as like mental health, physical health, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Family, all that.
And we're going to talk about that during this, because I want to get some insight into why the mental health thing was so important to you.
And rolling into 2020, I found myself shooting more video, which I studied in school, hadn't put into practice too much, but I got way more confident and comfortable behind a camera instead of just behind microphones and audio gear. And 2021 was like 2020 on steroids. It's like 2019 on 2 steroids. It was so much camera work and so much learning what it was or what it is to be a media producer, for sure. I worked with R&B artists for the first time. I worked with more rappers than I'd ever worked with. I worked with more progressive rock musicians than I'd ever worked with.
Haven't you done some country and western stuff?
And country and western and Americana. I dove headfirst into the realm of DFW music, so much so that I was hanging out with my friend Mackenzie, my friend and bandmate, and I was sitting there and I was like, what if I put on a music festival? And he was like, do it. And I was like, okay, this is the biggest I dare you to do it situation I've ever had, but I think we can pull that one together. So I pulled together a Black-led Juneteenth music festival last year, and
in all places, Pantego,
Texas.
Y'all have to understand what Pantego is, and they open their arms to you. I was like, just excited about the whole thing. People wore their masks. The venue was wonderful. And it was people of all ages were there.
Yeah, all ages, all colors, all hair textures. It was great. It was way better than I could have ever expected. And like from a business perspective, and we're about to roll into the business side of 2021, because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I am absolutely an artist. But I have to understand that people have to pay for art.
Yes.
Like people have to pay me for my time. People have to pay the people that I work with for their time. So from a business perspective, I broke even. I perfectly broke even on that music festival. My first ever attempt at doing the thing.
And that was good.
And that's so amazing to me, because so many people do or try things for the very first time, and it's a little debt. It's like you're spending your money to make the thing that you want, but seeing how involved people were and seeing how badly people wanted to support it just inspired me more. So I after June, I continued to work with more and more musicians and more varying genres. And of course, with different genres comes different mindsets. Like Texas, for sure, has a love for country music and a love for Western music.
Because I showed you some music.
Yeah, you showed me like a good amount of stuff I hadn't really listened to before this year. And just meeting all those people and working with all those people just fueled me through the rest of the year. And understanding the business aspect of it and talking to those people who had been doing it for longer than I'd been doing it for, and some people who hadn't, it reminded me, as a person, you never stop learning.
Yes.
And someone can always learn something from you.
Yep.
So I definitely took that to heart midway through the year, and I was asked to be a mentor in a mentorship program.
Oh, I like that.
For the Pegasus Media program.
Okay.
And the apprentices that work there and still are wanting to pursue careers in the media visual arts realm totally were more like kindling to the flame that I was building in 2021. I rode that out the rest of the year. I taught what I could teach. I learned what I could learn. I made music with the people that I had met up to that point and had great relationships and still have great relationships till this day with. And 2021 to me, like, it made 2020 like not exist in a way. Like, it was such an uplifting year for me, and I'm really thankful for it.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned some things that I'm seeing are very important. And one of those things was changing your mindset.
Yeah.
Actually becoming a business.
Yeah.
You got your business license, you got your brand, you got all of these things together. And, you know, I've even noticed that with your music, because when you talk about DTB, yeah, he's wearing his DTV shirt, and I love that band. And not just because it's my son. But, you know, we were talking, and you were talking about how, you know, working with these people, looking at marketing. I've never heard you talk about marketing. I've never heard you talk about business until, you know, the last few months. And, you know, you're looking at doing some patent stuff, things like that, of some of the things that you build. But, you know, it's that whole mindset that I'm seeing that you and some of these young people I've been around for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I've just watched y'all grow, and I'm like amazed at what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, with that change in the mindset and slowly getting back out there and looking at the changes due to the pandemic that we're in right now, what are you doing for self-care?
For self-care, so in 2020, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Buy a bunch of ginger, eat a bunch of ginger, walk all the time. And you know what happened? I got burnt out. Real quick, I got burnt out. And it wasn't like a physical burnout. It was a total mental thing. I was just working myself into the ground, trying to like make up for what I thought was a loss or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I had to rotate into like mental, like personal self-care there and like pacing myself and taking a break like in an appropriate spot where I need to take a break. So being around more people who have the same kind of drive and same creative like elements in their life as far as their businesses or their means of income works informed me that we all need that. We all need to take the breaks and assess where we are, because we do this like every year. We talk about the progress of Payton Studios and just essentially the growth in general of a little bit of the art scene that I'm involved in. And I know that sometimes I don't do that.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes other people don't do that, and they're just like, what's the next thing? Or like, how do I keep going so I don't financially go under? And we live with those anxieties, but we have to also understand that we have those things about us.
Yeah.
Like maybe understand why a walk is good outside of just the physical exercise of it. Sometimes in the mornings when I go on a walk, I will literally plan my entire day. And I feel like that 35-minute walk sets everything up to be amazing for the rest of the day. So it's, you already know this, but I am a hardcore scheduler.
Oh, yeah, you are.
We scheduled today. That is in my calendar. And
yes, we did, y'all. We scheduled it.
We scheduled a meeting between mother and son. But taking stock in where you are and what you have, making short-term goals and long-term goals, writing down the things that need to get done so you can hold yourself accountable for those things are all, to me, important things for solid mental self-care. Understanding those elements about yourself and the way that you process information and your relationships and stuff like that is also as important as writing it all down as far as your schedule goes. Because sometimes you find yourself in a friendship that is more giving on your side than you really anticipated until something in your life happens and you're like, why is this person like, and you start blaming them or wondering why, but it's really just the relationship you've been in.
But you know what? One of the things that made my heart feel so great about what you're doing this year, you know, you have clientele that you work with. Yeah. And when I redecorated the yard, and for them to come over and sit in the backyard and y'all playing together, it made me feel, oh, wow, this was not a waste. This was not just for me. And, you know, I just to listen to some of your minds go, I just think that's amazing. And you're not always talking about work. No. Sometimes you're just talking to be talking. Yeah. And so that's a good thing.
Well, yeah, like working with musicians, you got to understand that they don't do music all the time. No. They might want to talk about cooking or a TV show. So like building the atmosphere and creating a vibe for everything is definitely in the forefront of my mind, because no one wants to go, like, this is fun and this is creative, but it's also work, and no one really wants to go to work if it's gonna just be work and not fun and doesn't stimulate any other part of your mind. You could go to the studio and sing all day long, but will you be happy singing all day long? Will you get bored of singing all day long? Yeah. Probably gonna get bored after a little bit. So cultivating your atmosphere, cultivating the atmosphere you work in for other people is another one of those things that I definitely thought harder about during 2021. And the atmospheres that I find myself in, I've definitely been noting more. Yes. Because of how that affects me.
You know, I've watched what you've cultivated. You've gone to New York and you've met with different people.
And Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma. I forgot about Oklahoma. And you've just done so much growth in the past year since you've came back, 2021. And I know we all still have to be careful. We have to be aware. You know, testing is on the rise right now. But last thing I want to talk to you about is what's next? You've put all of these things in place. You've started a business mindset with this. What's next?
At the very end of 2019, I built a website.
Yes, you did.
And all through 2020, and even more so through 2021, I've been updating that website with work that I've been a part of or work that I have filmed myself. And honestly, I did not anticipate the amount of work that I would be putting together just to make a year-end review for 2021. Yep. And the amount of people that I was like, what is that? What's their name? Like, I want to make sure I credit them appropriately when I post this video. I hunted down a list of like 40 names of artists that I had worked with. And I was like, all right. Didn't realize that I had made that many connections or met that many people. So for the coming year, 2022.
For Payton Studios.
Yes. I want to keep it going. I want to meet and work with more artists than I've ever worked with before. But I also want to go out of state more and meet more people and learn from them. I would love to go to Nashville this year. Oh, yeah. I want to become friends with somebody who's done it for as long as I've been alive, essentially. I would love to meet someone in the music world who's been a guitarist or a bassist for 25 years, or someone in the video world who's been an audio engineer for 25 years.
I mean, but you've already met some of those people.
I have.
And they're all sending you to Nashville.
They all keep pointing me to Nashville, the video and the audio people. So that's a goal.
Yeah, because Billy, oh God, Billy's been around for ever. Yeah. And he always, Mary, Aaron needs to go to Nashville. Okay, Billy, I'll remind him. But yeah, I'm excited about what's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And what's going to keep you going and what's going to keep you afloat and what's going to keep you happy. And tell people how to communicate with you, get with you, contact you, whatever.
Yeah, I want to take... Hold on, scratch this nose. I want to take a second and name some names.
Please
because
do.
I definitely ran through a bunch of different topics. First off, when 2020 rolled around and things started to shut down and work started to get slow, I met my friend Mackenzie.
Hey, Mackenzie.
Hey, Mackenzie.
I got food.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything tomorrow, so if you want to hit me up. I met Mackenzie, who's a professional drummer. He drums for a living, and he instilled in me the fact that music should be well compensated. And he not only just told me that, he told me ways of getting compensated for making music and what the music industry in his life looked like. So Mackenzie Webb, find him on the internet. If you need a drummer, session drummer, live drummer, Mackenzie Webb. And I want to thank you for being a friend and for everything you taught me. Next name, Dwan Jamal. So you haven't met Dwan yet.
No.
Dwan is a amazing energy. And if you've ever met someone who likes to put groups of talented people together, and that's it, like, he is one of those people. And he is a talented individual himself, along with a really solid event planner. He runs a crew called the Abnormal Review, in which a bunch of Dallas and a couple Arlington-based musicians, they'll go and perform. There's been performances at, I believe it is the Area in Dallas, which is a small bar with like a really, really nice stage area. At that event, which was called the Abnormal Fest, he had vendors. So he had local people who made clothing and other things along that sort of thing. And he's essentially connected musicians and vocalists together and videographers and musicians together. And he's just a pure positive energy. And like being around him made me want to film as much as I possibly could of what work he did, because he'll essentially just meld into the group of people like he's just a vocalist, but he's not just a vocalist. He's a great connector. So Dwan Jamal, look up the Abnormals. There's another name. Lottie. You've met Lottie.
Oh, yes. I love Lottie.
Lottie is the reason that I went to Oklahoma and New York with, of course, the help of a bunch of other people. Kayla, Preach the Poet.
Yeah, I know you talked about all these wonderful people, but there are two people that, are near and dear to my heart, and they are the other members of DTB who you've been with forever. So, can you give let's talk about them really quickly and what y'all are doing.
So DTB is Harrison Avenella, Jacob Dickerson, and myself. And we have been playing music together for over a decade now.
Yep.
And we started just playing locally in the Arlington, Texas scene. Kind of went over to Dallas for a while, went over to Fort Worth, went down to Austin and San Antonio, went up to Denton, and then eventually made our way all the way to Los Angeles to play a sold-out show. And I feel like over time we have learned to communicate in a way that not only makes the music better, but makes our songwriting process and like whole media generation process quicker, since we do everything in-house. We make our music videos, we make our internet content, and we record ourselves.
Now, the internet content, who's got the specialization for that? Because I know you've got the specialization for the video content.
So for social media, we break it up between the three of ourselves. I will typically find the picture and I'll be like, yeah, let's post this picture. I'll edit the video together and I'll say, let's post this video. And then Jacob will write whatever comment is in there. And Harrison will kind of like manage the actual like social media. And sometimes like me and Harrison will switch off who responds to messages that come in. As far as moving forward, we're working on building a website, and Jacob and Harrison both have training and past history in web development. So they're going to take the reins on that because that is completely out of my wheelhouse, but I will help wherever I can. And I will continue to do my media management and media production thing.
And don't you have a new song that just came out?
We do. The song is called Last Night at Sunshine. It can be found everywhere you listen to music. And it is the first song in a series of songs that are from a conceptual set of music. So it kind of is opening the door to this entire realm of music that we have been working on over the last kind of 2 years.
Yeah. But hey, y'all, they've been together so long. Us parents were roadies, and now they get their own stuff. They pay their own studio time. And, we're all proud of them. They all went to college and grew up, and they still are babies, but that's okay. But, hey.
And you can find us on social media.
Oh, yes. Where do we find you?
You can find DTB on social media at official_DTB, and you can find all the latest content there. We have Twitter, we have Facebook. Our Facebook is official_DTBTX because official_DTB was taken. But our Instagram is also official_DTB. Website coming soon.
Okay. All right.
If you want to follow anything that I'm doing in connection with those great people, you can go to papertonestudio.com. There will be a little thing at the bottom of the screen. And that's my spiel.
Well, hey, y'all, I know this was just a little short interview, but it had to be our annual interview because we've done it every year for the past 3 years. And we didn't want to change that this year.
Nope.
And so his studio decided that they were going to support me in doing this. And I'm totally and utterly excited. But hey, I've got big surprises for people next year. I'm not going to tell you this year, I'm not going to tell you what it is. But keep following me on YouTube and on Facebook with All About STEM Radio or Dr. Mary Payton on Facebook, either one. And hopefully you'll see me soon.
See you guys next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Cut.